The NBA trade deadline came and went this past Thursday, but who were the winners and losers at the deadline? We're going to talk some NBA hoops with a host for CBS Sports Radio and Sirius XM NBA Radio. My guy, Dave Shepard. How you doing?
Dexter, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I was not dressed nearly as well as you last time, so I hope I am making up for that this time around.
Well, listen, I'm going to talk some fashion before we get to some basketball.
Let's hear it.
I like the cream blazer.
Thank you.
It's a good look with the white.
Thank you.
So now I feel like you are as fresh as me. Even if you don't feel it, I'm letting you know that you are.
Right, because I can hold my own with a sports conversation any day with you.
Absolutely. You can hold your own with anybody.
I appreciate that. It's the fashion where I was falling short of you. So I appreciate you setting the bar high.
I appreciate the love, man.
Yes.
I appreciate you got to set the bar high.
Well, you are my Michael Jordan of fashion. I'm always going to be chasing you.
That's a bit much.
I'm never going to supplant you, but I'm always going to be chasing after that. So I appreciate you having me.
That's a bit much. Michael Jordan of fashion.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one coming. All right. Speaking of what we didn't see, Dave.
Yes.
We didn't see much big names moved at the NBA trade deadline.
Right.
But there was plenty of activity. Which teams do you think were the winners at the trade deadline, or is it just a single team that was able to upgrade their roster?
So we're doing the show in New York, so I want to put that out there. But it would be an injustice to New York to include any other team at this point in terms of who won the trade deadline. You have Bojan Bogdanovic, who is a legitimate 20-point-per-game scorer. Now, yes, Dexter, here's what people are going to say. Well, he's empty calories because he did it in Detroit. You know what? The guy also did it in Indiana, and he did it for the Jazz, so I don't want to hear that. You got Alec Burks, who we know is a very steady veteran, played for Tibbs in New York for a couple of years, so he knows the system, he knows the drill. And both of those guys, can you think off the top of your head one negative thing you've ever heard about those two guys? Ever?
Well, maybe Bojan Bogdanovic, a little lackluster on the defensive end.
Okay, so he's Damian Lillard, but not as good. Fair enough. Now, with that being said, you're getting two instant guys that are going to give you offense. You don't have that right now with Randall being banged up, with Mitchell Robinson being banged up. Obviously, Jalen Brunson's not 100% right now. So this gives you an instant 30 points per game off the bench. And what you are also going to see is OG Anunoby come back strong. The elbow injury has plagued him. But when this team is fully constructed, this is going to be a team to reckon with, and they made the absolute right moves in getting not just two veterans, but two professional scorers. Shout out Jamal Crawford, who basically initiated that term.
Look, yes, Jamal Crawford.
Speaking of great New York Knicks.
Absolute professional scorer, no doubt about that.
Yes.
Knicks winning the trade deadline. You like the Knicks there. Now, look, we talk about the NBA trade deadline, all trade lines. Not everybody is a winner. In fact, some teams, Dave, they weren't active at all.
No.
Who were the biggest losers at the trade deadline?
Man, to put loser in the same sentence with LeBron James, I don't know if I can do that.
Oh, here you go.
But I got to be fair-minded and objective when it comes to what the Lakers did not do at the trade deadline, Dexter. I'm going to get loud for a second here because Rob Pelinka, what are we doing? LeBron James, I understand he's in year 21, but the reality is this is a must-win situation with a guy that still offensively is a top 10 player in the NBA. Now, here's what we know.
Hold on.
Yeah?
Hold on.
Yeah? I'm sorry, I mentioned LeBron. I get excited.
I see that.
Yeah.
I almost thought you were a Laker fan. I'm like, the energy just shifted.
Dexter, here's the thing.
Okay.
With the Knicks, I can finally be calm, cool, and collective. Finally, I don't have to yell at the top of my lungs about James Dolan. But when it comes to LeBron James, this is the biggest asset we've had in the NBA, no disrespect to Kobe Bryant, for the last 10, 15 years. So with that being said, every year is so precious. And you understand that you go against elite teams like the Denver Nuggets in the regular season this week. And what we saw last year when they got swept, offensively, that's not the problem. The problem is not having the right pieces around LeBron James to play defensively. Kind of like my voice is going to have to play defense in a little while when it's completely shot because I'm screaming.
Oh, yes, it is.
But here's the point. With LeBron James, you have to surround him with the right pieces. What was Chicago doing? Nothing. Nothing. Billy Donovan, we know he can't coach in the NBA. No disrespect. I know he's a great Knick himself. Back in the day, he can coach Florida. I'll give him that much. He can't coach in the NBA. We saw that with OKC. So that was a disaster waiting to happen. So you got to ship those guys. You got to move those guys and finally get them. DeMar DeRozan loves L.A. Andre Drummond played for the Lakers. Alex Caruso was a key cog defensively for them when they won their championship in the bubble. I know some people don't count that, but let's be real. It does count number 4 for LeBron. And he ain't going to get number 5. He's not going to come close. The Lakers did nothing. They did as much as you and I at the trade deadline, and that's a disgrace considering we know LeBron has the player option for year 22, and he's going to end up playing in Siberia with Bronny somewhere instead of playing for L.A. in year 22. So to answer your question, who lost? It's LeBron and the Lakers because they did nothing.
Nothing. You said it with your chest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Energy totally shifted.
I got to work on my posture a little bit. I was watching Taylor Swift the other day, And say whatever you want about her from a lyrical standpoint and from a vocal standpoint, but my God, is her posture on point. Kind of make me feel bad about myself a little
So you got to step your posture game up.
Yeah, yours is great, by the way.
You stepped the fashion game up, you stepped the posture game up.
Yes.
And now we got to change the vocal inflection a little bit when it comes to the Laker talk.
There you go. Just speak out of your diaphragm. That's what I've always been told.
We got that.
Yeah.
All right, you mentioned the Knicks. I want to talk about the Knicks because they've made additions to transform their roster this year with the 2 trades that we saw. They've played some strong basketball since New Year's Day. Are the Knickerbockers championship contenders?
That's my camera?
That's your camera.
That's my camera? Okay. Are the Knicks contenders? Dexter Henry asked a very poignant question, and a lot of people are going to tell you no. Let me tell you why they are. 1994, ring a bell. They had one superstar in Patrick Ewing. We all know that. Now they have another superstar in Jalen Brunson. No disrespect to Melo, we love him. No disrespect to Spree, no disrespect to Allen Houston. This is the most important player. I'm going to make sure we are very much aware of this. Let me be clear. Carmelo Anthony is an all-time great scorer, but Jalen Brunson is the most important New York Knick in the last 30 years. Why? He's more than Melo because he elevates his teammates. And Dexter, when you surround him and the ascension that he's been on, no one saw this coming. We knew he was going to be viable for the Knicks based on the run he had with the Mavericks, but nobody saw superstar-esque. Nobody saw all-NBA perennial first team, second team, which is eventually what he's going to be. And I witnessed the Knicks team that beat a reigning defending champion Denver Nugget team by 38 points. They had Nikola Jokic, they had Michael Porter Jr., they had Aaron Gordon, they had Jamal Murray, they had that core 4. So you can't tell me for 1 second that the Knicks are not a contender when they just absolutely, without, by the way, their defensive anchor, Mitchell Robinson, they completely wiped them off the floor. By 38 points, that's the largest win ever for a New York Knicks team against the reigning defending world champion. We can debate the world part later, but the reality is you beat a Nuggets team by 38 points that's fully stacked. You can't tell me anything other than that's a legit NBA championship contender, and that's not New York bias talking, that's objectivity speaking.
You knew that was coming. You know, some people are going to hear you say that and say, hey, Dave is drinking the blue and orange Kool-Aid. This is what he's doing right now.
Right.
Look, the team's playing good basketball. They could have a shot to get to conference finals or finals. I don't think it's that crazy.
Thank you.
It's not that crazy. Enjoy that blue and orange Kool-Aid, though.
I appreciate that. By the way, speaking of blue and orange, I'm on the A train, and all of a sudden it goes to the D line. So they knew I'm a Knicks fan. when does that ever happen, by the way? Only when I come see you.
So, look, I guess the city is so in tune with how the Knicks are playing. You have to go from the blue line to the orange line.
Excuse me for 1 second, Dexter. By the way, for anybody that doesn't know subways in New York, you have the orange line, you have the blue line, among many other primary colors.
We don't want to leave the people that aren't from New York that wouldn't know that. Okay. Now, as we head towards the All-Star break, which is going to be next Thursday, in your eyes, who's the best team in basketball? Is it the defending champion Denver Nuggets? Is it the Boston Celtics? Dare you say the New York Knicks? I know you're not going to say the Los Angeles Lakers. We already got that out the way.
Yes.
Who's the best team in basketball?
So I'm going to go WWE for a second here.
Oh, God.
To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Oh, okay.
And yes, the Celtics have the best record in the NBA. Problem is, I don't trust Jason Tatum in a big series. I certainly don't trust clueless Joe Mazzulla. And when it comes to the best team in the NBA, some people are going to say the Clippers, right? Because you have a Clippers team starting out 8-10, and then they go 26 since that point. But when you return all 5 starters on a team that only lost 4 postseason games in 4 series, and those 4 losses came by 2 possessions or less, and I'm obviously referring to the Denver Nuggets, and all of the starters, including KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, is 30 years old and younger, you can't knock a team and not say they're the best when they proved it the year before, and they are right there again. And Mike Malone is more concerned about winning another championship than he is about his name, and Lakers getting more attention these days, which is very refreshing. So you have to say the Denver Nuggets in this instance. And Nikola Jokic, we know at this point that guy is the real deal, and he's fazed by nothing.
No, the Nuggets are strong. They have a chance to go back-to-back. We will see if they're able to do it. Last thing while I have you here, being the great radio host that you are, it's not a basketball question.
Can you say that again?
Great radio host that you are.
Thank you.
See, I'm all about. We got to build people up.
By the way, speaking of great, you are great in so many roles that you do.
I thank you, sir.
And I really mean that. Like, it's so easy to just converse with you.
That is my job.
Yes.
Make it easy to have these conversations around sports. But I'm going to ask you a non-basketball question here, since it's Super Bowl weekend. And I know as a host this week, you've talked a ton about the big game.
A little bit.
Who wins Super Bowl 58? Are you going with the Niners or Chiefs? I want to see if you get this question right.
Right. So you're leading me to an answer. So let me tap your brain for 1 second.
Okay.
Who do you have and why?
Oh, I have Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
That's what I have to say. That tells you I have the Chiefs. That is all that needs to be said here. I have Patrick Mahomes. I'm going with the best quarterback in the sport. I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And I see the Chiefs winning this game. That's why.
So,
Patrick Mahomes.
right. So you took my answer, right? When you have a quarterback, that was a devastating loss to the Bengals in the AFC title game 2 years ago when they completely had that lead and squandered it. Since that point, Dexter Henry, he has not thrown a single interception. We are talking a 6-game sample size. What does that tell you? He has figured out progressions. He has mastered it. He has really, really mastered the pre-snap. There's nothing this guy can't do on the field. And all of a sudden, we're not saying Taylor Swift's boyfriend anymore. We're saying Travis Kelce because he looks like the greatest tight end in football again. The burst is there. The speed is there. The separation from defenders is there. We weren't seeing that in the regular season when the guy went 2 months without freaking catching a single touchdown. And Travis Kelce is known for catching touchdowns just a little bit because we've witnessed that in the last 2 games where he's had 3. You also have Isaiah Pacheco, who we know runs angry, but he also runs smart. There's a reason why he's leading the NFL postseason in rushing yards. Steve Spagnuolo, New York, we love him here. Won us the Super Bowl in 2008. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion as a defensive coordinator with the Chiefs for a reason. And then you have the underrated all-time great coach in Andy Reid, the ultimate playmaker, the ultimate decision maker, and a guy that people love to play for. And by the way, last time I checked, Kyle Shanahan had a double-digit lead in the second half of the Super Bowl, blew that as a head coach, had a 28-3 lead as an offensive coordinator, an MVP in Matt Ryan. You have an unbelievable wide receiver, Hall of Fame talent in Julio Jones. And what do you do the last 22.5 minutes in 2017? You don't score a single point. I'm rocking with not Brock, although I love Brock Purdy. Great story. But you got to go with the guy that is truly the Tom Brady of his generation. Just very quickly, by the way, when he wins his 3rd Super Bowl, I don't want to hear comparisons to Tom Brady. Let him win 4 Super Bowls after the age of 37. Then we'll have that discussion.
We will see.
Yes.
I'm glad you're rocking with you. You got the right answer there.
Appreciate it. And I had your answer, which is even more important. So I didn't know what your answer was, and that's why I kissed your ass for the beginning of this question, because if I was wrong, you would kind of then lead towards my way because I gave you a compliment as well.
Well, no, I appreciate the compliments. I appreciate that we are on the same page.
Yes, sir.
The only thing that we're not on the same page is you might be drinking a little bit more of that blue and orange Kool-Aid than I've been drinking. Don't look at me like that. You know you've been drinking it.
Wait a second. I can't be hopeful? I mean,
no.
I was born. I was born.
I am not taking away your hope, sir.
The greatest, I would say, sportsman we've ever had in our lifetime was the late great Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
And he always said, if you can believe it, you can achieve it.
You know what?
Yeah.
I don't really have an argument for that. There you go. That is David Shepard.
Muhammad Ali is my ace card.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say for that. I'm not about killing anybody's hope. Can't do that. That is David Shepard. Catch him on CBS Sports Radio and Sirius XM NBA Radio. One of the great hosts out there on the radio waves. Dave, always good to talk some basketball and some football as well. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much for having me. We got to do this again soon.
We will do it again soon. Enjoy the Super Bowl, y'all.